belated welcome to all the dignitaries, our esteemed chief guest, Dr. T.B. Ramachandra, Professor and Coordinator, Energy and Wetlands Research Group, Center for Ecological Sciences, IISc Bangalore, our Director, CSIR-NEERI, Dr. Atul Vaidya, Dr. Suresh Kumar, Chief Scientist, CSIR-NEERI, STEM scientists, researchers, and students. I'm truly overwhelmed to witness such a gathering here today as we have together to commemorate National Science Day, a day that holds a special day in the hearts of every scientist, researcher, and science enthusiast across India. NEERI, being a pioneering institute in the field of environmental research since 1958, has been actively working in the field of science and technology for achieving sustainable development. I welcome you all to celebrate such a significant day today. Now, I kindly request Dr. Prakash Kumhare, Senior Principal Scientist, CSIR-NEERI, to kindly escort the dignitaries to the dais. I request our Director, sir, to kindly present the sapling as a token of gratitude to our chief guest. Thank you, sir. The significance of National Science Day lies in its historical roots, marking the discovery of the Raman effect by the eminent physicist Sir C.V. Raman on February 28, 1928. This day serves as a reminder of the pivotal role science plays in our lives, shaping our understanding of the world and propelling us towards progress and innovation. This year, as we have gathered under the theme Indigenous Technologies for Viksit Bharat, the significance becomes even more profound. The theme underscores the importance of leveraging our rich heritage of indigenous knowledge and technology to build a self-reliant and technologically empowered nation. It is a call to integrate modern advancements with time-tested indigenous technologies, creating sustainable solutions that align with the vision of a developed India. So without much ado, I now request our Director, sir, to present the welcome address.
Very good morning to all. Dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Ramachandra, my colleagues, Dr. Suresh Kumar, Dr. Kumbhare, my colleagues sitting in the audience, my senior superannuated colleagues. We are privileged to have Chief of Maintenance Command Vice Nagar here in the audience. So, and students, all are welcome to this celebration of National Science Day, which is celebrated on February 20th. And for students, it's very important to know that there are many people really did not know exactly what is the significance of Science Day. Some people used to think that it is the birthday of C.V. Raman. Everybody knew it is related to C.V. Raman, and it is the day on which this Raman effect was discovered, and that's why this is celebrated as Science Day, National Science Day. Today I saw a WhatsApp message that Indian Nobel laureates, there are 6, 7, whatever it is. Probably, not probably, the only Indian Nobel laureate who has worked in India throughout his life, did his research in India in those days, and faced Nobel Prize based on his research carried out in the Indian lab in those days, is only Dr. C.V. Raman. Rest all Nobel laureates, they work in either in USA or in Europe or in developed countries and had all the facilities, those time facilities, developed facilities of the laboratories, except Dr. C.V. Raman. And therefore, that signifies the importance of indigenous research. Now, Viksit Bharat, what we were discussing about the institute, the Odysseus thing and all that, we need to have indigenous research. We need to have indigenous technologies. And it has been proved in 1928 that if you are genius and if you are hardworking, There is no end. Sky is the limit. And you can even get Nobel Prize, like most coveted prize in the field of science and technology in 1928 itself. And it was on this podium in one of the celebrations in 2002. Professor C. Mate, who is father of our XTG, and who had a chance to work with Dr. C. Raman as a physicist. He said that the doctor, he had narrated and he had seen and worked with Dr. C. Raman. He said that Dr. C. Raman was so confident of getting Nobel Prize that in those days you had to travel by boat. It was a sea journey only to Switzerland, not Switzerland, Sweden. And he had booked it in advance because the ceremony was in December, obviously. He booked in advance. He was sure to get the Nobel Prize that year. So that kind of confidence he had, that because he knew he has worked on that. And probably from that science to create a Raman spectrometer, Raman spectrography, established technologies, it has taken a long time. Therefore, it signifies the importance of national science day, what we have to do, what we have to strive for. One more thing which I still remember, Dr. Mande had said, Professor Mande, he is no more now. He said that Dr. C.V. Raman, and he being a very intelligent mathematician, also intelligent in mathematics, he had been offered and he was getting a very lucrative post of some kind of audit office or auditor in some office. Nevertheless, he was so much interested in physics and the research into physics. And he never knew what kind of institutions are there in India because those days communication medium was not that effective. And he was traveling to Kolkata and he saw a board of some research institute. And he literally jumped from the train and instead of joining as an auditor, he joined that. Very poor family in that physics lab. That's how the story goes. So it is a dedication of the person. And we salute that, we celebrate that. There is one more announcement today. There is a very good news for me is that WHO, World Health Organization, has reconstituted its network for the COVID research. We call it COVID and CSIR-NEERI and Department of CSIR-NEERI, which is Environmental Epidemiology and Pandemic Management Division, headed by Dr. Krishna Karna. This division has been invited to be part of this COVID. And however, this is very few labs in India have been invited. And NEERI is one of them. So it's a problem for us. And we congratulate Krishna Karna for his hard work and the impression he has made on the international community. So that is the good news I wanted to share. The rest of the things, I always say that get into the basics of the science, get into the basics of the technology, and be confident like CVR. That in this year, CSI technology award will be also book in September. Probably that is the day we should be very happy. Our scientist is so confident that he will get CSI technology award and book in advance 6 months before. It is the foundation day of NEERI. CSI Foundation Day, he books in advance. So I think we are ready for that. And anyway, we have dignitaries and we will listen to his chief guest address, very interesting topic. I stop here. I wish you all the best on this Saturday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for such insightful thoughts and motivation. Proceeding forward, I would now like to request Dr. Suresh Kumar, Chief Scientist, CSIR-NEERI, to kindly introduce the chairperson.
I think I will start my talk. Don't worry.
This can be short.
Yeah.
So, NEERI's Director, Dr. M. Vaidya, today's Chief Guest, K.V. Ramchandra, Prakash, my colleagues, and all the students and participants. Really, when I saw his biodata today, really, sir, I feel very bad about me. So, Dr. T.V. Ramchandra obtained PhD in Ecology and Environment from the Institute of Science, Bangalore. And at present, he is the coordinator of Energy and Wetland Research Group
and convener of Environmental Information Systems at Center for Ecological Sciences, ISC Bangalore. During the past 20 years, Dr. Ramchandra has established an active school of research in the area of energy and environment. His research interests are in the area of aquatic ecosystem, biodiversity, ecological modeling, Western Ghats ecology, energy systems, renewable energy, energy conservation, energy planning, geoinformatics, environmental engineering, education research, and curriculum developed by tertiary level. Dr. Ramchandra is a member of Karnataka State Wetland Authority, Kerala Wetland Authority, and National Wetland Committee, Government of India. He is a member of the Karnataka State Level Environmental Experts Advisory Committee from 2007 to 10, appointed by the Ministry of Environment and Forests, Government of India, and a member of Western Ghats Task Force appointed by Government of Karnataka. He is serving in many committees of NGT related to wetland of Bangalore. Dr. Ramchandra has published over 352 research papers in reputed peer international and national journals, 75 chapters, and he has presented 333 papers in international and national symposia, as well as 19 books he wrote. His publication, Milking Diagrams for Energy, is seminal work in biofuel research evident from reports in Scientific America, BBC, National Dailies, etc. He has guided 172 students for master's dissertation and 19 students for doctoral degree. Dr. Ramchandra has received several awards, which includes Johnny Biosphere Award for Ecology and Environment in 2004, Satish Dhawan Young Scientist Award in 2007, Envis Award 2004, 2014, and 2015, and Namma Bangalorean Award in 2016, Rotary Explorer 2017, Citizen Extraordinary Award, Hadri Achyakam
Achyutanand.
Asthanan Memorial Samvahana Award for Environment in 2018. Dr. Ramchandra features in the recent global ranking of top 2% of scientists developed by Stanford University, with the ranking in environment 0.1887, energy 2.2138, enabling and strategic technologies 0.2642. He is a honorary fellow of Karnataka Science and Technology Academy 2022, elected fellow of National Institute of Ecology 2011, Indian Association for Hydrologists 2006, Indian Social Science Academy, Institute of Engineers 2003, Institute of Electrical Engineers UK 2005, and a senior member IEE USA 2000 and Association of Energy and Engineers USA 2000. With this small brief introduction, I'll request Professor Ramchandra to deliver his today's lecture.
May I have a slide changer? Okay, no problem, sure. Yeah.
The light will be off. No, right. Not that side. Okay, good morning to everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me on this special day, National Science Day, and also an opportunity to communicate to the diverse section of the society. You know, my favorite students are also here, the school college students. You know, I believe in that. Whatever we have done, communicating to the younger generation in effective way is a requirement. Not just working in the laboratories in ivory towers, but we should also go to the society and communicate to the society about the science, the work, what we have done, and the progress we have achieved as a state. Now, I'm talking about indigenous technologies. You know, when I look at the indigenous technology, I have extensively worked in Western Ghats. My study region starts from Kerala to Gujarat. I have seen these technologies in place before I took up the research. As a master student, when I went to design a hydroelectric project, I see already a functional hydroelectric project. One of the villager had just put the cups, what he used in this one, and he converts the kinetic energy into the energy, the electrical energy. Remarkable thing. The similar thing I noticed in the form of Persian wheel. Drier districts of Karnataka and Maharashtra, you would have seen the Persian wheel to take the water from the wells for the irrigation, etc. And when there is a need, when there is a poverty, you will also become innovative. Giving golden spoon to the scientists is not a good sign. Make the scientists to work, then things will work. Giving money, too much of money will only create AC rooms and sophisticated equipment without the knowledge of the system works, how the equipment works. When you look at the hydel energy, similarly is the solar energy. People have talking about it. I'm sure my grandmother was also using the solar energy because the energy was a problem at that time. Keeping the utensils outside and cooking was a common phenomenon. Most of the districts with the forests were there. But if you want to be a good scientist, my message is learn from Mother Nature. Simple food chain will tell you the concepts of thermodynamic principles. When producer produce food which is eaten by the next level, herbivore or carnivore, what you will see, energy and material transfer from one level to the other. And also there is a phenomena of loss of energy in the form of respiration. That's what we talk about law of entropy in the thermodynamics. And finally, when you look at whatever is left in the system gets converted into elemental form by bacteria and fungi. And that is where there is nothing called waste in the system. There's nothing called waste in the system. This bacteria and fungi does a wonderful job of the, where is the pointer? What function? Okay. So when you look at this bacteria and fungi, they are the good bioengineers. They do the principle of remediation, what you develop the technologies in the lab, they have been doing it silently over a period of time. What we have done is we have identified those strains and we get a patent of that. So that's the thing we have done. So now, what is the agenda of our research? Sustainable future. That means ensuring clean air and water and environment to our children is our agenda. For that, you need to plan. You need to maintain the ecosystem integrity. That is what is required. Responsible decision making and decentralized governance is required for prudent management of natural resources. I'm sure you all know about Mahatma Gandhi ji. Talk about Sudachi. What does it mean? Essentially, it means prudent management of natural resources at decentralized levels. So that's what, if he wanted every village in our country to be prosperous through the decentralized technologies and optimizing the natural resources uses. But what we did after independence, we followed the path of colonial rulers. We were more interested in the top-down, the technologies. Remove the water bodies in villages, get the piped water from somewhere. That is the wrong path we adopted. I think we need to correct that. We have been working in that direction. I hope changes will happen in the system. So now let us look at what are the misconceptions in our system. When people talk about the India achieving the progress, they always say per capita consumption is low. If country has to develop, the per capita consumption has to go up. Then I looked at that parameter, per capita energy consumption. True, it is low, but look at energy consumption per GDP. We are 40 times higher than Sweden and 12 times higher than Japan and 10 times higher than US. That means for producing the same product, we are spending 14 times higher electricity than Sweden, 12 times higher than the Japan. That means we are wasting the energy. Our the agenda should be conservation of energy. Efficient use of energy should be the criteria. When I did the auditing of industries, I found there is a waste of energy to an order of 28 to 42%. When I looked at the energy that is used in the household, traditional chulas, that requires per capita energy consumption. If you look at, it's about 2 to 2.4 kgs per person per day. Then we designed a chula which is energy efficient based on the concept of the optimal combustion, the radiation, etc. That brings down the fuel requirement to the 1.1 kg per person per day. That means about 40% reduction in the energy is possible. Ours is agrarian population, and many people reside in the village. And this is the time when I started my career, and most of the people were 80 to 85% were using the fuel. Bringing down the energy was one of the requirement, and we succeeded in that. Now, if you look at the energy requirement in the state, you see that about 48% come from the fuel wood or the biodiesel. That means naturally improving the efficiency of that device certainly helps in bringing down the energy consumption. Then, of course, we also looked at the renewable energy. This is the picture above my lab in the campus. What we preach, we practice. What I use, I'm also generating in the department. Okay. So now we also worked on the potential of solar energy in the country. 2009, when I first published this article, some people criticized me. Bangalore is a cloudy day for 130 days. How this technology will work? I said, give an opportunity to a technology, it will work. I said, and today, based on our work, the country solar program is flourishing, and we could make into the Karnataka, the decision of where I published this, one of the administrative person told me that you should translate this article into Kannada so that you can communicate to the decision maker more effectively. Then when I did that, I was inducted into the Karnataka Renewable Energy Committee, and I made sure that incentive-based generation is provided to the villages. Those who generate electricity. That means when you generate electricity, rooftop solar energy, and feed into the grid, you should be paid. I suggested 3.4 paisa. But the government came up with the thing. Initially, they were not willing to accept. I said that when you generate electricity and supply to the people, you are losing electricity to an order of 35 to 40%. Instead of that, if we generate it at decentralized level, we are saving that electricity. That is the money we have to give to the people. Then for the first time, we came up with the option of 9 rupees 54 paisa per unit. Those institutions and the people who had a MOU, today they are beneficial. That MOU is valid for 25 years, and they will get 9 rupees 54 paisa per unit of electricity what they supply to the grid. Not only that, today solar technology has become so popular, the cost of generation has come down to 2 rupees 30 paisa. But still they are getting 9 rupees 54 paisa. See, whatever said and done, everybody wants to make money. If you save some money, you will be happy. So that's how the technology also helps. Okay. So then, these are the technologies the people use, the PV based as well as the solar water heater. When I started my career in 90s, okay, working in remote areas, I remember those days, solar devices were not there. At our institute, we had developed the solar water heater. To make it popular, you have to go to the villages, communicate to the people. I used to go to the villages, conduct the workshop to popularize and conduct the exhibitions, etc. Today, that district has the highest population of the solar devices in terms of the solar water heater as well as the PV cells. Children don't grumble about the electricity not getting at home, but they have their own way of getting the electricity through the solar PV cells. Okay, that is the publication hotspots of solar energy which we publish. Then I also looked at the wind energy. I found that when solar is weak, during the the March, during the peak, the monsoon season, July month, you see that during monsoon, the wind regime is so high. That means hybridizing solar and wind will solve the problem of electricity requirement in the villages, in the rural areas, etc. And that is where we did the mapping of the thing. Though I started my work at the district level, I scaled it up to the state level and to the country level. And we talked about what is the potential of the technology is not working. So that's where we require indigenous technology. So that is the wind power density. That is the thing. That shows that is a sufficient energy is available throughout our landscape of the country. We are fortunate to have that kind of energy resource and also the youth power. 65% of our the population is youngster. If I harvest these two, I can make the country developed country. That is the agenda of every scientist in our country. Okay. So, and we also looked at the bioenergy in the region, and these are the technologies, fuel efficient stove and also biomass gasification. Again, that is developed by our institute. And when we started talking about this, the stove, energy efficient chula, we are surprised. The chief secretary of the state walks into our lab and says, "Can we have 1 million stoves given to the rural areas, the backward districts?" That number itself is puzzling, but we were so happy. We had the Karnataka State Science and Technology, and they took up the initiative, and the demand was met. Okay, then look at the hydel energy in the district. The Western Ghat district, rich in forest cover, is also rich in hydrological. The hydrological, this one, you can see these are the four major rivers in the district where I work. Sharavati and Kali are dam. The other two are not. When you do comparative assessment as a researcher, you will find out what is the implication of the dam versus undammed rivers. Okay. And this is one of the things I will highlight as I progress in my talk. Okay. This is a statement I have done. I will not talk about it at this stage. Okay. So then something which gives satisfying the thing is when I started my career, people were agitated about megadam. This is in the early 90s. They didn't want the forest to get submerged. That is the time I was started my career. They said that when I walked into those villages, first they didn't want me to be in the village. They thought that I'm also one more fellow, going to construct a dam and submerge them. I just told the villagers, just give me a 1 hour time. I will do my experiment and then I'll come up. Then I will talk to you. They all were on the hill. They were seeing me going in the valley, doing the experiment, measuring the velocity of the water, quantity of water, etc. And by the time when I came up, after 1 or 2 hours, there was a change in the mindset. They said, they said that you have come to solve our problem. We are convinced of the thing. The people who wanted to burn my jeep invited me to their home. They gave me lemon and the juice, etc. That's how the thing. Had I got into the argument at that time, my jeep would have gone. But I took the path that some time for them to think and understand what we do. When people are convinced of what you are doing, I think success will follow. That's what happened. I designed the hydroelectric project. The government proposal was about 107-meter height of the dam. It would have the submerged about the 10,000 hectares of land. I brought down the height of the dam. Submergence area came down to the about the 5.8 square kilometer or 580 hectares. So there's a 40% reduction in the civil engineer cost. But there was no compromise on the electricity generated of 815 million units that they are generating. My design also gives the hydroelectricity of 815 million units. See, now from 10,000 hectares, you have brought down the submergence to 580 hectares. That means about 9,400 hectares of forest land you have saved. Look at the bioenergy of that, the forest. It amounts to about the 650 million units. Not only that, since that region is undulating, I identified the location where we can have mini micro hydro project, which is about another this 700 million unit or a 550 million unit in the adjacent the river basin. So that way, look at the beauty of the small projects. That's where Shoemaker aptly said, small is beautiful. Okay, so that is what 815 million units of the electricity that conventionally you will get it. Then you have bioenergy to an order of the six bioenergy to an order of about 650 million unit and another 550 million unit from the mini micro hydro project. Almost 3 times higher electricity than what the government was doing it. I was invited by government agency when I did the presentation. They accepted the proposal. And of course, as a researcher, I also published that in a good channel. This is what happens. Then we also, this is purely an optimization problem. We optimize the thing. See, what I did, I said that I will store the water which is required for the villagers during the lean season so that they will have the electricity during the lean season. And places like Mangalore and Mangalore may not get the electricity from this plant. This runoff river scheme, I talked about it. And I also accounted the environmental cost. Then after incorporating environmental cost, unfortunately, in most of the EIA, people ignore the environmental cost. I accounted what is the worth of the tree and what is the worth of the hectare of the forest and the forest that is going to be submerged. And I found that benefit cost ratio is high for my design. Okay, in spite of incorporating the environmental cost, and that is where that's why it was accepted by the government. Okay, then if you look at this one, the what the forest at the time I had accounted it as 1,11,200 rupees per hectare because my guide told me I should be realistic. I should not put the too high number. So that's where I looked at the tangible benefit, what people get from the forest in the form of fuel, non-timber forest produce. Now, those are the things I accounted, which is about 1,11,200 per hectare. Okay. I also developed the regional integrated energy plan. What I developed for one district, then the government of India, the Ministry of Science and Technology asked me to replicate in Himachal Pradesh as well as another district in Karnataka. I had an opportunity. I got another project to replicate this. This is, see, your technology. If you replicate it, that is a success model. So that you should keep in mind. So model has to be replicated. Okay. So and it has to be cost effective. Then I thought it's better to have the smart grid also so that local energy requirement can be met. Then there was a request from one of the local MP in a drier the village, that district village, to have the electricity requirement. Then I gave the microgrid option for that. Okay. Then I started looking at algae. Our land is covered with the. You all know that we have percentage of water. And we have wonderful algae in that. I looked at what is the lipid content in the algae. Found that the algae have a shorter cycling time and higher product. We thought that it is a candidate for the biofuel. Solar energy gives you the electrical energy. Where your vehicle has to run, you require liquid fuel. So that's where we started looking at the liquid fuel from the algae, the biofuels. Okay. Then I told my student, don't worry about the strains that are there in the repositories. People will work on chlorella vulgaris and such strain and they will publish paper. Let us look at the strains that are there in the natural ecosystem. The first and foremost thing I ask my student is to map the spatially map the species that occur there and what is the biochemical composition of that. We found that macroalgae are rich in carbohydrate, the starch, whereas the microalgae are rich in the lipid. That means macroalgae can be converted into ethanol, while the microalgae we can convert that lipid into the diesel. So that means we have ethanol option as well as the diesel option. That is where we looked at the option. We also then there is an important process of fermentation in the ethanol production. Then again, I didn't want to use the strain which is already there, is strain for the producing the fermentation. What I did is I told my student, don't worry, I get the fruits that are eaten by the Indians throughout the country. I keep traveling the many parts of the country. Wherever I go, I'll pick up the local fruit from that region. I collected about 100 fruit, and then out of the 100 fruits, we found that two of the strains are very optimal. They give the higher, the fermentation efficiency is high. Then we came up with that SHF, the simultaneous hydrolysis, and the fermentation. When you look at the macroalgae, it has the poly sugar, which has to be converted into the simple sugar. That is the process of hydrolysis, and then convert that into the ethanol to the thing. The success of the ethanol is so high in our country. When the COVID happened, everyone wanted the sanitizer. That is where ethanol met the requirement, and you will be surprised to know that the Uttar Pradesh provided most of the ethanol required by the country. So that means the indigenous technology still works. Our simple sugarcane, the bagasse, that was converted into the ethanol. Then we looked at the biodiesel from the microalgae. This microalgae has the coating which has to be, the cell has to be broken. That is the process of sonication. Then is the next, the option is to have the transesterification to convert the oil that is there in the algae to the biodiesel, which has the property of the combustion properties of the usual fuel. Then we realized that we need to have the biorefinery option. Talking only about biofuel may not be the cost effective. We should look at what are the other value added product we can generate it. This microalgae also has the value of cosmetic, and the food, the protein can be used as a food supplement. So then we thought about the biorefinery option, and of course we published this article in a very good journal, the RCR. Okay. Then let me take you to my home, the Western Ghats. I do my science in Western Ghats. I'm born in Western Ghats. My study region starts from Kerala to the Gujarat. Unlike you all stay in a small house, I keep wandering in this forest. And latitudinally, it's from 8 degree to 22-degree latitude. And let us look at the number of species that we have on the. And you look at Western Ghats, my home is only 5% of the India's geographical area. People don't want to leave my home in the proper shape. They always talk, country has to develop. You forget about your forest in the Western Ghats. I always tell them, this 5% of the land mass of Western Ghats with the 100 plus rivers which are perennial, is giving the water security to the peninsular India. Because of the water security, we have the food security. That is the ecosystem has to be conserved. And also when COVID happened, since I was in the committees of the government, I didn't take the rest. I was not in the home. I was traveling in the Western Ghats to study the landslides, etc. When I went to Western Ghats, I didn't see the symptoms of COVID in the Western Ghats villages. Whereas in the Bangalore, when I came, I noticed that now I have moved to that from the indigenous knowledge, I suppose. And when I come back to the Bangalore, I used to see here, in this apartment, 7 or 8 people are killed because of the COVID. That means where ecosystem quality is poor, we had more of zoonotic diseases. Where ecosystem was good, there were no zoonotic diseases. Why that in those villages there are no zoonotic diseases? Because the kind of the food people eat is something remarkable. When I was doing the study of landslides as a part of the government committee, the local villagers were there. One of the villagers invited me to his home at around 12:30. I said that, how can I trouble your family? We are about 8 people. I don't want to come to your house. Your family has to cook food for 8 people, which may be difficult, I said, because I stay in Bangalore. Then that villager told me, sir, you give us 1 hour time. You just come and chat with us, 1 hour time. Then after that, if I don't give you food, you can criticize us. I went to his house, with my team. 1 hour we were discussing, we freshen up, and then 1 hour it took for us to settle down, etc. 1 hour the food was served. I was surprised, with rice and chapati. There were 8 dishes were provided. And each dish, chutney or palya is all local, this one, the herbal leaves, etc. The 5 varieties were there. I said, remarkable. A lady at home had cooked the food for 8 additional members, and that too, the food which we all liked it. And when I look at the content of that, medicinal properties of that, probably that is where the immunity we get when we are in Western Ghats. Okay, so now let us look at on the earth where the biodiversity is rich. As you move latitudinally, you will see that they at 8 to 14-degree latitude, you have the highest number of species on the earth. Where this 8 and 14-degree latitude corresponds to? Our Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. That means we have inherited that diversity of plants and animals. So that diversity gives us a different type of food. Because of different type of food, we have the immunity. See, we are lucky to be born in the Western Ghats. So that means the owners of conserving the Western Ghats, irrespective of whatever the pressure, is on our shoulder to see that our children continue to enjoy the benefit of Mother Nature with the diverse food and this one. And now let us look at the how the technology can be help useful in conserving this fragile ecosystem. We launched the satellites way back in 70s. Every 16 days or 30 days, you have the picture. So now that temporal data, if you analyze it, that is a big spatial data. If you analyze it, you will understand the spatial pattern of changes. Region, if you look at Mother Earth, we all have only one Earth. Look at the number of species that are there. Science estimates about 1.3 million species. Look at our scriptures. Rigveda talks about 8 to 12 million species on the earth. And of course, it all includes the microorganisms, etc. This is the indigenous knowledge. See, first is before criticizing that. First, let us read those scriptures and understand the scriptures. And if there are gaps, let us criticize. Just because it has come from the earlier generation, we have no right to criticize any of these things. So that is what youngsters have to learn. See, when I started looking at all these scriptures, I became more popular in the society. So, and now today we have artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithm to do the classification. Earlier, to analyze one district, people used to take 2 years and use analysis, or 1 year. But entire Western Ghats, one of my students did it in the 6 months. Not only he found out what is the forest cover, how it is declining, he also assessed the fragmentation of the forest in that region. Not only the forests are getting decreased, forests are also getting fragmented. Okay, that is the tragedy of the thing. That is the tragedy of the development. So then we looked at how to convince the decision maker. I thought the best way is to say that how much carbon is stored by these plants. Then we did the value to the carbon, the monetary value. When I did that, above ground biomass, below ground biomass, and soil carbon, it amounts to about 1.23 million gigagram. And every year, they sequesters about 37,000 gigagram of carbon. That is during photosynthesis. The plant sequesters the carbon in the presence of sunlight, and that is stored in the plant. So that is what we quantify in above ground and below ground biomass. So now every year they sequesters 37,000 gigagram, which is equivalent to the emission that happens in the cities like Bangalore, the Cochin, Trivandrum, etc. That means nature knows how to balance the system. That's why we should not allow the degradation to happen. And when you look at the monetary value, it amounts to about what is the carbon that is stored in this the ecosystem amounts to about 100 billion rupees, $1.4 billion. How this number would be helpful? When I take part in the international delegation representing the country, I will tell the Westerners the carbon that is stored in my forest are the carbon emitted by them. Because at that time, my country was not industrialized. And this is the cost they have to pay us. So if they pay us $1.4 billion, I can do the conservation or the management of the ecosystem because we need money for the managing the system. Okay. Then if this trend continues, what is likely to happen? We did the assessment. Now the Western Ghats, if you look at, we have lost 5% evergreen forest over the last 2 decades. Okay. Today we have only 10% of forest under evergreen. And total forest cover in the Western Ghats, ecologically fragile, ecologically sensitive region is about 18%. What is the norm of the government of India? 33%. We have only 18%. And my job is to see that 18% is not degraded further. That's what we have been working on that. And we see that further degradation will happen. And the other thing is the changes in temperature and climate is going to happen. That is a worrying thing. The region where the wet cultivation is Kerala becomes more warmer by 1.5 degrees. With the increasing temperature, you will have the more instances of vector-borne diseases like dengue, chikungunya, and COVID, etc. Okay, and if you look at the rainfall, there will be changes in rainfall pattern also. Kerala, which receives a higher amount of rainfall for a longer period of 6 to 8 months, will start getting lower rainfall. They cannot practice the wet cultivation. They cannot grow areca. They cannot grow banana. They cannot grow coconut, and that livelihood get affected. Not only that, rainy days get reduced. Rain which is supposed to come for 4 to 6 months will come in a week's time. When you have the same quantum of rain in the short duration, you will have the flood. This high intensity rainfall will induce the flood. And because of that, we'll have a landslides and mudslide. With landslides and mudslide, you will have the loss of life and property. Are we developing the country to make the system more vulnerable? We should not do that. That is where you should identify ecologically sensitive regions and then protect it. So then what we did is, this is a summary of what I said so far, I will skip this, okay? We developed the decision support system. I consider all the variables that play a role in the ecosystem, like biogeoclimatic and biological parameters, and the environmental parameter and social parameter. I assign the weights. And based on the aggregated weight, I identified the villages which are ecologically sensitive. I just launched it on the July. Within a week of launching the decision support system, we could see there is a response in the parliament also. I will talk about it in few minutes. See, I divided the Western Ghats into the 5 minutes by 5 minutes grid, 9 kilometer by 9 kilometer. And in each grid, we looked at the significance of each variable, and we assign the weight. For example, the forest cover. From the remote sensing analysis, you will get the extent of forest cover. The greater than 60% assign 10. That means the grids which have the 60% more forest cover, you will assign 10. Like that, depending on the forest cover extent, we have assigned the weight. Similarly, in the forest, we have assigned the weight. Okay. Then we did the study on the flora and fauna. Since I have been working for the last 2 decades in this region, it was not difficult for me to integrate those data of flora and fauna. Then they looked at the carbon, what I just now talked about it. Also, we assigned the weight for that. If you look at the fauna endemism, you see as you move from Kerala to Gujarat, you have the higher endemism is in the Kerala, Karnataka part and Tamil Nadu part. Similarly, the endemic trees are higher in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. And as you move towards the Maharashtra and Gujarat, you will have more of the herbs and shrub diversity. That is the thing. Both are ecosystems, okay? So then integrating all those the variables and then getting aggregated score, we did a frequency distribution analysis. And then finally we made the data into 4 groups, ESR 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now ESR 1 are ecologically very sensitive, ESR 2 is ecologically sensitive, ESR 3 is moderately sensitive, and ESR 4 is that thing is slightly degraded. So now you know that which part of Western Ghats is ecologically sensitive. It amounts to about 36% of the entire Western Ghats. I said 5% of the India's geographical area is Western Ghats. Out of that, I'm saying, please save 36% of the 5%. That means only 2% of the area. I'm asking the government of India not to think about any developmental project in the name of the development. Okay. So then this gives the villages also. We overlaid the villages. We got the data for the village level also. So then this is the decision support system that is available. You can visualize this. The details are available. You can. This is the portal. I launched it in the July. And today, you look at that, the number of hits, this is about 2 months back. Today, it's about 7,500 people have seen. That means there is a demand for this kind of the decision support system. Recently, that mega poll is this one, Pune, Mumbai thing also, there was a query from Maharashtra. When I responded, the people have written about this decision support system also. So then, you can visualize this one at state level. If you are interested in Maharashtra, you can look at and a district in Maharashtra, taluk and village level. You will come to know this is the entire Western Ghat. You can visualize at the. Then I realized that this details has to be in a vernacular language. We made it in various languages. Anaga, who is here in the audience, a faculty from one of the colleges nearby, she helped in converting in Marathi. So, since I have various programs, lot of youngsters from throughout the country comes to me. So that way converting into various languages is not a problem for me. So then also we put this presentations also in a this one, the video, so that in various languages, ranging from Marathi to Gujarati to Malayalam, Tamil, etc. Okay, so that the communication become effective. My thinking is when communication is effective, the ambiguity in the system will not be there. Everyone will take part in the conservation. And these are the video that we made it. The people have helped us in the explaining about this utility. Then I noticed that there is a demand for the mobile version. A lot of people told me, sir, you don't use mobile, at least allow the others to use. And can you make this app available on the mobile? Then we developed the mobile version. So, this is the QR code. If you scan this QR code, see, you can download this utility. This is CSIR-NEERI. You can visualize whether you are from Western Ghat. We are proud if you are from Western Ghat, that too from India. You are from a resource-rich region. Okay. So this is the QR code. Then I didn't stop there. I said that I should tell the people what is the worth of the forest ecosystem and agriculture ecosystem in the country. Sometimes the things also help. I had earlier done for a district in Karnataka. That was available online. Seeing that publication, United Nations approached me, asking me whether I can do that for 10 districts in Karnataka. That's a golden opportunity. I accepted that. But unfortunately, the COVID hit the streets. Everyone had to be indoors. But COVID helped me. I was not traveling. Otherwise, I would have spent time in the Delhi, etc., and less time in Karnataka. But this gave an opportunity to stay more time in the Karnataka. We were in lab. Not just 10, we did entire Karnataka 30 districts. That is the power of the youth. When the right environment is given, we can transform the world. That power we have in our youngsters in India. So then, when do the valuation of the ecosystem, there are 3 services provided by ecosystem: provisioning, tangible benefit, then regulating services like carbon sequestration, groundwater recharge, etc., and cultural services. The kind of the services, recreation, aesthetic, etc. We quantified all those things. And then finally we said that what is the worth of the reserve? These are the goods that are available at district level. We collected that and we compiled the provisioning, regulating and cultural services at a district level. And this gives the total ecosystem supply value, ESP, which is also known as a green GDP. Now, when you look at this is 2005 value and this is 2019 value. 2005 value is adjusted to 2019 so that you can compare that with the 2019. When you see that 2,894 billion rupees per year, the ecosystem value of the forest ecosystem comes down to 1,835 billion rupees per year. If you keep 1,000 rupees in a bank, at a 10% interest, you will get 100 rupees. Now, to get 100 rupees, your principal amount in the bank has to be 1,000 rupees. Now, if you are getting 1,835 billion rupees per year, then you see what is the worth of the ecosystem. That is called NPV or net present value. We calculated that. For that, before that, we computed what is the per hectare value, and then with that, we calculated the what is the total ecosystem supply value for 2005 as well as 2019. This report is available online. Those who are interested can go through it. Soon I'm going to convert that into the publication by the Springer. Okay. Then I also calculated NPV. NPV, which was 3,000 billion rupees, has come down to 47,000 billion rupees. That means the worth of the asset has come down by 35%, which is the degradation cost. That's what I tell government of Karnataka. Please recover this amount from all the officers who have worked in the Western Ghats region. Then you will see the resources in the proper shape. We need to make the bureaucracy accountable. Please don't feel bad if I use harsh word, because I know the truth. It hurts me. The level of mismanagement hurts me, but I'm not provoking youngsters. You should know these loopholes in the system. When they talk about development, their agenda is also to be leveraged to some extent. Okay? Now, with that, I will come to the Bangalore, the Silicon City. The city of Bangalore, which I enjoyed, was like this. I had the beautiful birds, butterflies, the trees, etc. But in spite of me being in Bangalore, I couldn't save Bangalore. Okay, so that is the thing. Look at the Bangalore topography. 740 square kilometer area of Bangalore of today is a small hill. That small hill has three watersheds. When the river was passing through the region, our elders just put the bunds at the various locations to convert the loading ecosystem into lentic ecosystem so that they get the irrigation water, etc. So we have three watersheds. And in 1800, this region had 1,452 water bodies and 82% green cover. And because of that, temperature in the May month was 14 to 16 degrees Celsius. And for a few days in December, the temperature was 0 degrees Celsius. We were growing apples in a place called Palace Orchard, closer to my institute. Today, what we are growing? We are growing waste and waste people in the city. The city, the landscape has, the water bodies has come down to 193 and less than 3% is a green cover. The city topography, if you look at, this is the highest point. My institute is located at the highest point. Not only we are number one in the country, because of the science we do, technology we develop, we are also number one in Bangalore topographically. When you're on the top, you can see everything happening in the system. Your eyes will be wide open. If you are in a closer the lower area, your eyes are constrained, so you will not think much. Okay, so then this is the kind of water body that was there earlier. People when they created rulers, when they created a city or a town, they had a protected wall, and adjacent to that there is a lake. For example, in Bangalore, this is the lake next to the fort. Okay, today we have 193 lakes. When the today decision maker look at the lake, they think about Lakeview apartments. That's a tragedy. The indigenous technology promoted the water body for the decentralized water harvesting. The modern technology is allowing the looting of these water bodies for their benefit. Okay. Then, see, and water bodies were interconnected. And today you look at interconnectivity among the lakes is lost. Because of that, we have the flooding in the. See, when you do this kind of spatial analysis, you will also get additional knowledge, additional information. You can interpret the causal factors for various disasters like flooding, etc. Okay. Then, see, this is the interconnected lake, and this interconnectivity is lost. When I looked at the interconnectivity, where I have lost, all famous people are sitting there. One film hero is sitting there. Adjacent to him in another train, one politician is there. Irrespective of caste, creed, people have encroached the thing when they are powerful. Okay. Then why do we require the lakes in arid zone? Because it provides the water security. Because of water security, you have food security, secured health, and resource availability everyone. And also, it sustains the livelihood of the people and happiness among everyone. When there are resources, people are happy. So, but for that to happen, ecosystem integrity has to be maintained. is also resilient to changes in the climate. Climate changes are happening. We need to accept. We need to be resilient to that. That only this kind of ecosystem can provide. So now we thought that information, if it is in almirahs, in the libraries, will not help the system. I thought we should develop the decision support system for that. We developed the Bangalore Lake Information System. This launched about a month back. ELIS, please, the appropriate acronym I got. So now every lake, the physicochemical, the details, biological parameters we are putting. You can see if you are interested in algae, you will know which lake, what kind of algae. If you are interested in the fish, you will get that. If you want to know the water quality, you will come to know. And also, if you want to know how much encroachment has happened, you will get that detail also. At the end of my talk, I will demonstrate this, okay? And all the details, I thought that if the data information is not available, I thought mismanagement will happen. If I put the data information is made available to decision making, then this one will happen, mismanagement will happen. It may not happen because awakened society will take the help of judiciary to curtail the mismanagement. Okay, so then look at what is the use of lakes. You know, in Bangalore we have some experts. They come to the meeting. They say that Bangalore doesn't require lakes because there is no more irrigation in Bangalore. But they have completely forgotten. They drink water. 45% of Bangaloreans depends on the groundwater, and they go with a half pant and half brain jogging. They take the recreation services also of the lake, but still they think lakes are not required. So when I quantified, when lakes were there, groundwater table was 80 to 100 feet. When the lake was removed, in 6 years went down to 600 feet. Today, 22 years, the water table has gone down to 1,900 feet. This increase in number doesn't show the improvement, it shows the degradation of the ecosystem. You know, 1,800 feet, there is no water. That's where we have done the thing to find out water in the moon. You know, Bangalore did that. We removed water on the earth in Bangalore, but we launched, we have Chandrayaan. I'm not criticizing anybody, but this message will be more effective in your brain. Don't say Chandrayaan is linked to the water scarcity. Okay, that is for you to understand the severity of water scarcity. Okay, then you might ask, if I improve the condition, will it help? We rejuvenated one of the lake in Bangalore. I've been doing that. Sarakile. In a year's time, 320 feet increase in the groundwater happened. That confirms my theory. The lakes are connected to the groundwater resource. If you want water in your cup, you need to look at the lake in the vicinity. Okay? Then I also looked at what is the service provided by the ecosystem. If I quantify all those things, fish, water, etc., it amounts to about 10,500 rupees per day per hectare. When we pollute the lake, it comes out to 20 rupees per day per hectare. You know, the worth of the lake comes down. That is not the problem of the lake. That is the sign of the mismanagement of the lake. You know, who are the people who are benefited? Fishermen, washerwomen, okay? And then the farmers and who are researchers like me. And who are the people who pollute the lake? Elite section of the society. They think that lakes meant for water body is meant for disposing the untreated sewage and industrial effluent. Okay? Then I thought that I should find out what is the ecosystem services of the lakes in the Karnataka. So we did the quantification of the provisioning, regulating cultural services. We found out what is the per hectare value, and we did a mapping of lakes in Karnataka, wetlands in Karnataka. 39,000 wetlands are there in Karnataka. I am a part of the wetland authority in Karnataka. When I went for the first meeting, people told me, sir, there are no wetlands in Karnataka. Then I said, first of all, you have not read wetland rule of 2010 or 2017 properly. That rule specifically says the management aspect for the wise use for the Ramsar wetland. It is not for other wetland. Where other wetland, you are supposed to list it and tell the ministry. That's what you are supposed to do that as. But they said zero wetland. Then when I went for the national committee meeting, I told the government, the problem is that people have not understood the wetland rule. Can we do something? Then one of the bureaucrats gave me the Supreme Court judgment, which says that any water body greater than 2.5 hectare is a wetland. So then I was equipped with that. I asked the ministry to to send that communication to all the state authorities and ask for the details based on this, how many wetlands are there in the state. When I attended next meeting from zero, I was promoted to 14,000 wetlands. See, that's the science does it. Had it been not mapped it, the zero would have continued. And most of the people who sit in the government, they don't even read the literature. They think they are very busy in counting notes. Okay. Then we also did the services provided by the wetlands. 284 billion rupees per year. And the worth of the wetland, the NPV is 7,320 billion rupees. Compare with any of the thing, apartment complex. This is one of the highly productive ecosystem. People say, if I convert lake into apartment, I will get a more revenue. I always tell you will get more revenue, society will lose their value. Okay, then let us try to understand the science part of it. How that catchment the matters. This is a photograph when I was a student. The place was green, probably because of the green cover. Today, the same month, same year, not same year, different year, I don't have water. That is mainly because how the land cover that decides the ecosystem function. Ecosystem functions include water cycle, nutrient cycle, biochemical cycle. Two of you, please keep in mind. I will ask you questions later. If you are talking now, then I will come. Because I want you to learn this important thing. I have come with a purpose. Okay, I don't travel without purpose. Okay, now to understand this, I'll take you to the one of the water bodies in the Western Ghats. Sharavati River Basin. It originates at Ambutirtha, traverses 128 kilometers, joins the ocean. You ask any civil engineer about river, invariably they say that river is the blue line. That's where they come up with a waterfront project. They think that beautification will help the thing. If you don't have heart, if you have artificial heart, what is the purpose of that? You will have cost associated with that. That waterfront is one such thing. So now we constructed dam way back in 1965. Now after constructing the dam, 179 villages were there. They were forcefully evicted from there. Those villages were shifted to drier bed. Those villagers who were shifted to dry bed, they couldn't practice the wet cultivation. They waited this work to be completed. They just came back to this area and converted that the forested area into agricultural land. Today, that region has become an agriculture area and a barren area. Now, if you look at remote sensing in this region where the forests are good, you see the density of streams are good. Where forests are converted into agriculture or the barren area, you see the stream density has come down. You might ask, what are the other impacts? Let us look at the rainfall. We are fortunate we have the good rainfall data, daily rainfall data for 124 years. Download that data. Analyze the not 1 to 1964, 1965 to today. When you analyze 1901 to 1964, this region, the entire region was receiving the rainfall of 3,000 to 4,500. Keep in mind, this region they receive the orographic precipitation. Entire region is a rain catching region, not a rain shadow region. And the entire region was receiving rainfall of 3,000 to 4,500 during 1991 to 1964. 1965 to today, if you look at this portion continues to get 3,000 to 4,500, while this portion gets the rainfall of 1,700 to 1,900 millimeters. To understand this, what I did is I divided this catchment into sub-basin based on the tributary. There are tributaries on the western side, tributaries on the eastern side. When you do the forest cover, and also we carried out a hydrological investigation. We put the sensors in the underlying layer to find out how much water gets infiltrated when it rains. We chose the representative catchment, the catchment dominated by native species forest, catchment dominated by monoculture plantation, catchment dominated by urban habitation. We found out what is the amount of water that gets in. See, when the catchment is dominated by native species forest, because of diversity, the roots are diverse. Because of the roots are diverse, the soil microorganisms are diverse and abundant. When soil organism is diverse and abundant, it allows the water to percolate. It fills this zone, which is a saturated zone, then it fills the vado zone. That's how during the monsoon of 4 months in Karnataka, you have the water flowing in the river or stream or lake for the 4 months because of the rain. Next 4 months, the water that is stored in water zone moves laterally to the river or stream or lake for the next 4 months. During summer, the water that is stored here moves to the lake or this one, which we call it as a base flow. Okay. Now, if this is converted into monoculture plantation, only some amount of water is filled. That's where you see that water availability is only for 6 to 8 months. When you have urban habitation, everything concretized like Bangalore, nothing goes inside. So that's where the water scarcity flooding happens. Okay. Now, based on this, we characterize the streams as A, B, C, D. Now let's look at that. This one. See, now this gives you the extent of forest cover and rainfall. See here, forest cover is 30%, rainfall is 1,776. Whereas in the catchment dominated by forest, 65% forest cover, rainfall is 4,800. Forest cover 60%, rainfall is 4,400. I contradicted the publications of the West saying that they claim that if there are vegetation in the catchment area, reservoir will not have water. You will see that all my generation people who became engineers, they all read those literature. That's where first thing they do when they become irrigation engineer or the power engineer, they cut the forest. See, that wrong information always. So I contradicted that. When I published this, it became a kind of a thing people started looking at. Okay. Then we have graded streams as A, B, C, D. Look at where A type are there. That means 12 months water is available. If the catchment has a forest cover more than 60%. If the forest has monoculture plantation, you have 8 to 6 months B or C type of water body. If the catchment has the forest cover less than 30%, you have water only during the monsoon. Now, this also decides the livelihood of the people. Now let's look at how much water get infiltrated. Our study shows in the forested area about 60 to 65% water get infiltrated. And in the area where forest is degraded, it's only 20 to 22% the water get infiltrated. We also looked at what is the societal demand. The society requires water for agriculture, horticulture, fish training, etc. When we quantified that, this inner side shows the demand. The demand for water is high in this region and also water is available here. Whereas demand for water is there in this region, but there is no sufficient water. Country has to develop. Water is a requirement. That means there is enough water even if there are forests. You don't have to remove the forest. This is my message to the government. And to summarize what I said, this is the region where 12 months water is available. The green are 8 months, yellow is 6 months, and this is 4 months. Just overlay the forest cover on that. Wherever intact forests are there, you have 12 months water. Wherever forests are fragmented, depending on the scale of fragmentation with the intrusion of monoculture plantation, you have 8 to 6 months of water. Where forest is less than the 30%, you have only water during the 4 months. Now you might ask how it helps the people. See, the farmers in this region, if they earn 1,54,000 rupees per acre per year, farmers in this region earn only 32,000 rupees per acre per year. That is because here water is available throughout the year, they can grow multiple crop or a cash crop. Whereas farmers in this region can grow only one crop because the water is available only 4 to 6 months. Okay, that's one part of the story. Look at the biodiversity aspect. The biodiversity, especially the pollinators are abundant and diverse. Because when the pollinators are abundant and diverse, the pollination becomes efficient. When pollination is efficient, you see that the yield of the crop is higher. For example, paddy yield is as high as 12 to 16 quintal per acre, whereas the yield of paddy in this region, because of the poor ecosystem there, the pollinator is only 6 to 8 quintal per acre. Now the government of India wants to double the income of the farmer. I just tell the government of India, just you maintain the ecosystem integrity. My ecosystem gives the double the yield and double the income. You don't have to do anything. This is a message has to go to the Prime Minister. You're all there. Please pick up a postcard. It will cost less than 5 rupees. Just write this and communicate to the government. I've been doing it, but still the government has not understood my language. When child writes, it becomes a good weapon. You should communicate if you have understood. That's where I didn't want you to chat. Okay? Yes, there are various ways of chatting, at home also, wireless, all those things you can do. Okay? Now, we also looked at the diversity of animals in the region. You see, wherever water is there, the sloth-beard tiger, etc. there. Where water is not there, only two-legged animal is there. You know who is two-legged. Okay. We also identified the fish. which has a medicinal property. We name that is a new species of fish, Distura nagodiensis, Distura gerardiensis. Thinking that it has a medicinal property, it can be used for respiratory ailments, the bronchitis, etc. I thought I can become a trillionaire. I brought those species to the lab, and when I cultured it, poor fellows, they didn't have the medicinal properties. The message is, if you want medicinal properties in this taxa, you need to get them in their habitat. To get them in their habitat, water should be available throughout the year. For water to be available in those streams for throughout the year, surrounding catchment should have native species of forest in the vicinity. That means the terrestrial diversity of plants and animals is linked to the aquatic diversity. Then let us look at another story. You all know frogs. Frogs are known as amphibian. Why do we call them as amphibian? Because they have two stages in the life cycle. The first stage, juvenile stage or the tadpole stage, is in the water, while the next stage, adult stage, is on the land. Because of the two kinds of habitat requirement and the life cycle, we call the frogs as amphibians. Now, if water is not there, what will happen? The juvenile cannot survive, tadpole cannot survive. In such a case, frog cannot survive. Now, with the global warming, changes in climate is happening. With changes in climate, water scarcity would become acute, or there will be severe water scarcity. None of us will survive. No humans will survive. But these organisms which are adapted will survive. That is because after fertilization of the egg in a drier state, we saw the younger ones emerging out. Then I asked my student to get those fertilized egg to the lab. We monitored it for 14 days. I saw on the 15th day younger ones emerging out. See, we published this in current science. Almost all my scientific things we have published. We have not kept anything in the thing. I put it online because I am not sure about tomorrow. At least today, let me share with everybody. Okay. Then, understanding this importance, our elders conserve the patch of forest. They called it as the Everkadu in Karnataka, sacred forest, or the corn, cow, or rice. In Maharashtra and Goa, it is called rice. So they have rice. Okay. Because they understood if the forest is there, there is a water in the well. Because of that, they. Now, unfortunately, this is an indigenous knowledge, indigenous technology of conserving the water. What is the modern technology? Convert the forest into the idle land. Only idle will reside, no water will be there. As long as Mother Earth is covered with a green saree of native species, she will retain the water and give the water for us for the 12 months in a year. That's what we require. I have not come across any human being who doesn't require water. When we convert the native species forest into the saree of synthetic saree of monoculture plantation, she gives the water only for 6 to 8 months. When we degrade the ecosystem with the forest cover less than 30%, she will not give the water more than 4 months. This is what you need to understand. If you want water, you respect mother. You respect mother at home. That's a traditional practice. Then you will respect mother earth also. The modernization has killed the fabric of this relationship at home. People are more used to the chatting, using mobile at home. When mother is sitting there, they will be more interested in the mobile, etc. The day when we shut this technology, misuse the technology, we will have prosperity at home and we'll have peace at home and security at home. Okay? Now that's how the planning is done. See, we all do EIA. As long as the project doesn't affect the livelihood of the local people, that project is a viable project, ecologically, environmentally, and socially, as well as the economically. We connected the Kerala to Mumbai, but people continue to get their livelihood farming as well as that's the kind of the development that should happen. Again, another lesson I learned from an elderly lady from the coastal district. She must be senior to me, must be 60 plus. Now I see her going under the water and collect a bucket full of bivalves. When she sells that bivalves is a marine organism which has the meat value. When she sells that, she gets 350 rupees a day. She doesn't go back to the place to collect the second bucket. She tells me that tomorrow my children want that. That's where I am. That is what the principle of sustainability. She does not do the over harvesting. Had she harvested that, she would have made more money, but she would have brought the poverty in the locality. So that is, see, whereas city dwellers, we think of our great children, grandchildren, great grandchildren. When we become prime minister, we amass the wealth to take care of the great children also. That's not sustainable. Okay. Now, the people who have not learned the lesson, let us look at the history book. That's why we should have a habit of reading literature, historical literature. You will understand the thing. Only the cycle continues. Easter Island, people went on expanding the island thinking that land is available, but people couldn't live there because of water scarcity. The similar thing happened in the last leg of Vijayanagara kingdom. Maharashtra is also part of that. There is a severe water crisis because of that. People have to abandon the area. So these are the historical lessons. Now, as a youngster, you can practice conservation. What you can do if your food plate is diverse with pulses, your water footprint comes down. What is the advantage of pulses? It gives you the energy, it helps in weight management, and also it helps in brain functioning and good source of vitamin, and also it reduces the diabetes and blood pressure. You might ask, what is the fruit? One of my colleagues who was the head of the organization had all these occupation hazard, diabetes, blood pressure. After retirement, he met people like me. Today, if you look at his food plate, the dinner plate, he has 5 varieties of vegetable, 5 varieties of fruit, and a bowl of rice. Each 50 or 100 grams. He is about 74. He doesn't have blood pressure or the sugar or the diabetes. Okay? So that means this gives the stability in the system. Now, when you people start practicing this, when they start switching over to their pulses and millets, you will see the water footprint comes down. To grow a kg of rice or a wheat, you need 3,000, 5,000 liters of water. Whereas to grow a kg of pulses, you need only 200 liters. Or a millet, you need only 150 liters. These are climate resilient crop. And that means with the changes in climate, also you still get the yield. And the other thing is, it also reduces human animal conflict. Incentivize the farmers, ask them to grow pulses and millet, you have solved the problem of the human-animal confrontation also. Not with the railway wagons and all the fences, solar fences and all. These are the simplest thing. So we should have done. Okay. So now let's look at what are the threats to this water body. Okay. Look at the way the Bangalore is changing. The green Bangalore of 68% in 70s when I was a child. Today, 86% is concretized. Let me animate this. No, 73, you saw that. This is 90s. We have the industries coming up in the India and Kormangla changes happened. Then the 2000 with IT/PT sector coming up in Bangalore, the changes happened. Then the 2006 intensification, 2009 further intensification happened. Today we have reached the situation we do not have oxygen. There are instances of people using oxygen cylinders. Not at your place, Chalhalli. It is in Rajaji Nagar, the other places, Malaysia. Elderly people were senior to me. They use oxygen cylinder. There's a water scarcity. You do the Google search, you will see there's acute water scarcity in Bangalore, in spite of me warning them again and again. Okay, so that means this growth is not acceptable. Enough is enough. Let us decongest the city. There has been a 1,055% increase in concrete area. We have lost 88% vegetation, 79% of the water bodies. And now I thought I should have another decision support. We developed the Bangalore Urban Information System. All this has to be developed by the government agencies, not by the academic institute like this. Since I decided in Bangalore, I thought I have a social responsibility. Let me do it. Without funding from any organization. Whatever the money left in my other project, I used it for that. I put all the data what I had compiled during the last 2.5 decades, made it available. So, including trees, lakes, etc. are available. And we also did a mapping of trees in the Bangalore. This is my campus, IIC campus, 400 acres. We have 22,000 trees. We did the mapping using global positioning system, GPS, link that with the remote sensing data. So now we know the relationship. The similar exercise, we did it in a couple of wards and then extrapolated to entire Bangalore and overlaid the boundaries of the ward so that we know how many trees are there. And also we took the ratio of number of trees per person. The Bangalore has 1.5 million trees and 9.5 billion population. That means 7%, there's one tree. You might ask, how many trees do we require? Some people ask, do we require trees? I ask them, are you breathing? You are all breathing, no? Except the tables, etc. Now, when we breathe, we give out carbon dioxide to an extent of 540 to 980 grams per person per day. That means when you are young, your footprint is 980 grams. When you are senior like me, 540 grams per person per day. And 1 hectare of vegetation takes in the carbon to an extent of 6 to 9 tons per year. By that ratio, every person, 7 or 8 trees have to be there. What we have in Bangalore is 7% 1 tree. You might ask, this is a new thing. I went back to the root. I looked at the Bible. There's a mention of the nature conservation 320 times. People don't read Bible, but they go and dance in churches. Now let's look at Quran. Quran talks about imminent war if you pollute the water. That's why when you visit Dargah, you have to wash your feet and finger with the clean water. When you do that, they thought that you will practice water cleanliness in the Dargah, at home, as well as in the community. And look at our literature. Masjid Purana brings out the beautifully the linkage between the water, child, and the trees. When you have well at home, you are wealthy. 10 wells are equal to 1 lake, 10 lakes are equal to 1 reservoir, 10 reservoir is equal to 1 child, 10 children are equal to 1 tree. That is the benefit of having 10 children. You can also get by planting and nurturing a sapling. I'll put it other way. Those who cut trees, they are murdering their own children. You see how powerful they is that. This is what I write. You might ask how powerful it is. One of the forest officer landed in my room. When they come to my room, I don't talk to them for first few minutes, half an hour or so, because I want them to settle down. They have come in a Bangalore climate, Bangalore pollution, they are agitated. I saw the gentleman sitting in my room, tears in his eyes. I asked, sir, is my office is so cruel to you, my lab is so cruel to you. He said, your lab is very good, but you are cruel to me. I said, what is the problem? He said, road widening is happening. I have to remove 179 trees. If I remove 179 trees, like yesterday you wrote, every fellow who cut the tree, they have murdered 10 children up there. You will write tomorrow another article saying that this forest officer, Ravi Prakash, has killed 1,790 children. Because of that, I am crying. I said the solution, he asked me what should be done. I said, solution is there. Nearby there is a palace orchard. Oh, let us talk to them. Get 2 hectares land. Let us do the transplantation as well as plant the sapling. At least 2 years old sapling, some 200 will plant today. When he did that, people started appreciating. Earlier, he was worried because of my article, people will be agitated. Then other thing is, if you don't implement it, he said government will sack you. Now he has the thing. When we did this kind of a thing, then he survived the situation. Okay, now where all water bodies we have lost, we know. And what is the link, the temperature in the region? What was 21 degree became 24 degree or 28 degree in 2010, and today 34 to 37 degrees Celsius. And from the center of the city, when move in any direction, you see wherever water body parks are there, temperature is 2 degree lower. Even my campus, you look at temperature is 2 degree lower because I have a good environment. Because of good environment, we can do good science. Okay. Now, consequence of removing the lake or vegetation cover, the flooding is happening in the region. Then that is because of loss of interconnectivity among the lake. And other things, glory of Bangalore. Frothing of lake is fire. I have traveled many countries. Nowhere people show the coexistence of fire and water except Bangalore. And when we analyze that, we said that causal factor is a phosphorus in the water because we have manufactured detergent with the phosphorus, which is restricted in Canada and other European countries. We are still allowing in our country. Because of that, the phosphorus is getting into the water, which gets packed in the sediment. During the pre-monsoon, there is a churning of lake water happens, and because of the frost formation happens during the. That means we need to restrict the phosphorus content in the water bodies. Then Hindustan Liver, they saw my article, they invited me. I went to them, I said, you are the polluter. You just help me rejuvenating the lake by taking the cost of the rejuvenation. Then what is the solution? The government, the bureaucrats have done, they put the barricade to prevent the froth crossing over coming to the road. Because it was coming to the road, it had become the international news. They didn't want to face that. Then I wrote an article saying that this is a ad hoc decision, it's a solution is only 4 months. 4 months, they have spent 2 crores. Utter waste of money. Then in the meanwhile, we also wrote did a detailed study to say how to decontaminate the lake, how to rejuvenate the lake. The local youth took it forward. And we also highlighted the implication of the pollution. We collected the fish sample and people grow vegetable in the vicinity of the lake using this lake water. And we collected those vegetables like pudina, spinach, radish, etc. And milk also. And we found that heavy metal in all these food items. That means the heavy metal in a food is a serious thing. It will lead to the cancer and kidney failure. You know, Bangalore is number one as far as the cancer instances are concerned. Kidney failure, which was 1 in 1 lakh about 12 years back, today is 1 in 5,000. We have dialysis unit in each ward, each ward. When politicians they put a full page advertisement saying that they are inaugurating the dialysis unit in their ward, which means they are telling that my ward is with a more and more vulnerable disease, the kidney failure. That's where we should not allow the decontamination to happen. And other thing is, people have the affinity, they do the remodeling of the drain. When I did the study, 80-meter width drain or 60-meter drain, they narrow down to 20 meter. Not only that, they concretize the bed. Because of that, you see the concretization. Hydrological function of the drain is lost. And surrounding groundwater gets the less water. That is where narrowing and concretizing. I wrote an article saying that this is affecting the sustainability of water in the lakes. NJT fortunately read my article and they said you cannot continue the remodeling. So that's how science gets in. Then another thing is we prepared a report, the blueprint for rejuvenation of Belandur and Vattur Lake. These are the two largest lakes in Bangalore in the eastern part of the city. If I decontaminate that lake, I have solved the water problem of that part of the Bangalore. So that is where I wrote an article. Then local youth met me in some occasion. I said that as the citizen of this country and the youth, why don't you do something for the country? They said, what can be done? I said, take it to the judiciary. They took it to the Supreme Court. The court penalized government of Karnataka 500 crores, which is kept in the escrow account, and they constituted a committee in the NGT. I am also a member of the committee, and lake rejuvenation has started. I said that lake has to be decontaminated. That means whatever contaminant in the lake has to be removed. And we should arrest the contaminant entering the lake, like untreated sewage, industrial effluent, etc. So then we did the quantification of the silt accumulated water quality in the lake. That is where the MEG, the defense personnel helped us. We have the kind of symbiotic relationship with the defense personnel. When I see the officer here, I was very happy. Because getting that kind of officer in my audience is quite common. We do it in Bangalore and other places. And they join hands with us. So when we did the quantification of the silt, we found that about 11 million cubic meters of the silt is there. The moment I released this report, there are some experts in Bangalore said, oh, TVR is going to create a traffic chaos in the city with the removal of the silt. Then what did I do? I analyzed the content of the, what happened, sir? Is there a laptop? Oh, you have to charge the thing, yes.
चार्जिंग को लगा है
चार्जिंग नहीं होगा एक उधर वो कनेक्शन इस इधर
चार्जिंग लगा है
नहीं 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 Yeah, no. It's on. It's fully charged. It's not that. Okay. These are natural ways of controlling the speaker like me. I don't know which divine power has done the job. See, I cannot satisfy the entire population. At least God is doing something. He is going to help me out. What happened? Okay, but in any event, I will continue my this one. I was talking about the silt in Vattur and Belandur Lake. So when I did the analysis, 11 million cubic meter was there, and then people said there will be traffic problem. Then what I did is, I did the quality assessment to see whether the silt is contaminated. Silt in the, Belandur Lake is contaminated, which is in upstream, but Vattur Lake is not contaminated. Then I had a meeting with the local farmers. I convinced the farmers, the 400 acres of land, we gave this silt. If you look at the worth of the silt, if I convert that into bricks, it's about 1,500 crores. If I look at the nutrient value, it's about 15,000 crores. So then, when I talked to the farmers, they agreed to take the silt. 400 acres, we gave the silt. After 3 months, when I visited the farmers field as a member of the NGT, each farmer told me per acre they got about the 1.5 lakh additional revenue. 1.5 lakh per acre. This is because they are not using fertilizer. Second thing is this, since the silt had nutrient, it had the higher the this is yours. Yeah. Okay, that's okay. Don't worry. Okay. Then they said 1.5 rupees per acre per thing. They grow this green leaves like pudina, etc., radish, etc. That is a seasonal crop. 3 times a year they can grow. That means 1.5 into 3 times. 4.5 lakh per acre per year is the thing. That's how the